Hello and welcome to getting into your resilient zone with art. We're so grateful that you're here. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us this evening. My name is Kelly and I am a member of the Resiliency Task Force here in Wilmington. And I'm so grateful to be working with Heather and Georgia from the Cameron Art Museum tonight. So just a few logistics. The chat box is in the next to on the left. So feel free to ask questions or post throughout the evening. We look forward to seeing your comments with that as well. So we'll wait just about 1 minute, and I posted, there we go, some resiliency pause questions. So while we wait just a second, I invite you to, hello Heather, answer any of those questions. Just, you can either answer for yourself, or if you feel comfortable, you can answer them in the chat. It's just a great way to start our time together, to think about what uplifts you, what or who gives you strength, what or who helps you get through hard times. So again, you can just kind of start thinking about those. It's called a resiliency pause. All right, so as I mentioned, I am Kelly with the Resiliency Task Force, and I'll be talking just a very brief introduction to the community resiliency model, and Heather will be doing a guided relaxation and meditation with a piece of art by Saul LeWitt, and Georgia will be doing an art project. So really looking forward to that. For the art project, you'll just need some paper and whatever you like to use for a drawing or coloring materials. That could be colored pencils or crayons or paint if you choose, and then either maybe a ruler or something to trace. And we really look forward to that. And this is a great opportunity for us to think about the community resiliency model and self-regulation through the lens of art, and what a gift art is, and how we can use that to regulate our nervous system and pay attention to sensations that are pleasant or neutral. So I'll go ahead and get started with the basic introduction about the community resiliency model. The community resiliency model is a biology-based model that teaches 6 wellness skills that are really easy to learn. It is meant to empower individuals and communities to build their own resilience and help their community as well. It was created by Elaine Miller-Karras, who's a member of the Trauma Resource Institute out of California. She's actually used this model in 39 countries, and it's been incredibly effective, and across lifespans, across ethnicities, cultures. It's an incredible model that really can reach a lot of people, and that's what I'm really passionate about, that it can reach a lot of people and be incredibly effective. It focuses on self-care. So tonight we really invite you to use this for self-care, learning these strategies and this information, but also the art tonight to be able to use that for your self-care. When we know that the model focuses on regulating the nervous system, and we all have a nervous system as humans. And when we pay attention to sensations of well-being, that can expand. We know from neuroscience that what we pay attention to grows. Brain cells that wire together fire together. So tonight I want to introduce those skills and concepts that can help us to widen our resilient zone and through the art that we do and that we love and enjoy, we can use that as a platform to really practice these incredible skills. So the first concept is the main key concept is called the resilient zone. And the resilient zone is basically a state of well-being in mind, body, and spirit. It's when you're your best self. It's when your nervous system is regulated. And just like the natural rhythms in nature, like the changing seasons, the changing tides, the ebbs and flows of the oceans, our bodies have a natural rhythm as well, and that's our autonomic nervous system. And these skills are meant to help regulate that nervous system. And we have different, it's like a wave where we may experience emotions such as anger and sadness, but we can still remain in our resilient zone and think clearly and be our best selves and not get swept away by emotion. I'm just looking at the chat here. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. We're so glad you're here. The not getting swept away. So your the goal, our goal is to remain in our resilient zone as much as possible. We want to keep our nervous system regulated, and these skills can help us regulate our nervous system. When we experience a highly stressful or traumatic event, we can get what's called bumped out of our resilient zone, where we may experience sensations of or emotions of anger and anxiety. We may experience anxiety, and sensations we might experience are things like sweaty palms, racing heart rate, tense muscles. And then if we're bumped low out of our resilient zone, we may experience things like isolation and disconnection, numbness, and cold, feeling cold. And these are when we get bumped out of our zone. And triggers, which are things that may remind us of the highly stressful event, can also cause that. That can be as sensations, that could be body sensations or people, places, things. So what happens is it dysregulates our nervous system. And we can also kind of think about it like a brake and accelerator in a car. And when we're when we get bumped high, where the accelerator's on, our nervous system is really amped up, and then the brake is the other part of our nervous system where we want to have that natural flow. So our goal is to widen our resilient zone, and everyone has a resilient zone, and these skills can be used to widen that resilient zone, because what we pay attention to grows. So when we learn the difference between sensations of distress and sensations of well-being, we can choose to focus on that, and that grows and expands. So tonight I want to focus on art and how that's an incredible way to focus on those sensations that calm us down, that help regulate our nervous system. Okay, sorry, a little nervous. Thank you for bearing with me. So our first skill is, and please let me know if you have any questions in the chat box. I know I'm going through this very quickly, but I want to get to the art. So I want to just do the basics and then we'll get to the art. So the first skill is called tracking. And tracking is reading your nervous system or paying attention to what's happening inside your body. Tracking is the foundational skill for the community resiliency model, which is what we do to talk to our nervous system. It's how we can get into our resilient zone and talk to our body about re-regulation and helping it get back into our zone. So what we want to do when we're tracking is we really want to pay attention to sensations that are pleasant or neutral. So as we begin to track, we want to notice things that are pleasant or neutral. So, and as you're tracking, you may notice things such as your heart rate, your breathing rate, muscle tension, things like that, to begin noticing that. And so I invite you, if you'd like to join me for just a brief tracking exercise where we can get, I invite you to just wave your hands around, get some energy going, and then pause and see if you notice anything else, right? That's getting your nervous system starting to understand and track your nervous system. And then maybe you sway your hands nice and slow and notice anything there. Noticing that the nervous system is now calming down a little bit. So just beginning to notice those different things. So one thing for tracking that's been my experience, especially with coloring, is I am able to notice sensations or track when I'm coloring. And one of the things I notice is my jaw relaxing. And when I color, I've been noticing this more and more. My stomach muscles release a little bit. And I also noticed when I color that my eyes, instead of being hyper focused, they kind of soften. And to me, that's really pleasant. And that's been my experience. And that's something that I invite you, if you're comfortable tonight, to begin noticing those things. Start to notice what's happening inside your body as you're coloring or doing the relaxation meditation, and focusing on those sensations that are pleasant or neutral. All right, and the next thing that we'll talk about, the next skill, is called resourcing. And resourcing is something that uplifts you, or anything that brings you a sense of peace or calm or joy, that helps you, that uplifts you. I invite you, if you would like to write that in the chat box, if you would like to share one of your resources, you're welcome to do that. And particularly thinking about art, it could be some sort of art piece, and resources can be anything it could be external, internal, or imagined. So an external could be a person, place, or thing, or an experience. Internal could be a character trait like kindness or courage, or a belief like faith, or imagine could be something different. So thinking about one of those resources, something that uplifts you or brought you a sense of peace or joy. Maybe it was a particular art project, or it's when you're coloring, or maybe it was a time when you were coloring with someone you love, or doing art with someone you love. Just thinking about those things and how that can be a resource and a way for you to come back into your resilient zone. Watching the ocean, that's a great one. Thank you. My children, a walk in the woods, music, those are all fantastic resources that can help regulate your nervous system for you. Tea, wonderful. So the first step is to identify the resource, and then you can begin to notice sensations when you think about that resource. Thank you for sharing your resources. And the next the next skill that we'll talk about is grounding. And grounding is paying attention to a part of your body, or your body making contact with a supportive surface or a surface. And this can provide a sense of gravitational security to the nervous system. It can help literally ground the nervous system to be in the present moment. Because when you're grounding, you're not thinking about the past, you're not thinking about the future, you're in the present moment. So grounding can be a wonderful way to do that. And again, with art, one of the things when I color, I notice that particularly my other hand, I place on the table or the desk, wherever I'm coloring, and I can notice myself, I can notice my hand on the table and be able to notice that and even actually just doing it right now helps to calm my speech rate and all of that, and I can notice that it's helping calm me down. So as we and you can and you can ground by sitting, standing, noticing your feet making contact with the earth. All of these are ways that you can ground in addition to the one I just mentioned. So a few other resources to consider. I am going to place some terms, some of the community resiliency model skill terms, and some other resources like Elaine Miller Karras doing some webinars about the community resiliency model. So again, I know this was very brief, but I wanted to give you an introduction so you'll know some of the skills and language, so that tonight, as we're doing the other exercises, you'll be able to notice those things and begin paying attention to those different skills and sensations. And so I'll place that in the chat box in just a minute, but I want to thank you so much for your time, and I really invite you to focus on sensations that are pleasant and neutral. Things such as your breathing rate, maybe your muscle tension, things like that, to begin to expand your resilient zone and your well-being. So I'm going to place, if you can give us 1 minute to get to the next session. Heather is going to guide us through a wonderful guided relaxation and meditation. And so I will put these resources in the chat box to, oh, it didn't copy as well, but these are some of the skills. So I listed some skills, and then here are the resources for any other information. The Resiliency Task Force page is a great page, great place to go as well. So thank you so much again. Enjoy the rest of your time tonight, and I look forward to seeing some of your art, and enjoy. Thank you.